Today I've actually got a pretty interesting story. So I got off the phone before I got here to the gym with a good buddy of mine. And this is a guy that, he's another industry leader. He's a guy that, he speaks, he trains. He's a really sharp guy, and he's a good friend of mine personally. We've known each other for years, kind of on and off. And it's interesting because I want to share something with you in a huge philosophy, and it ties into what I'm going to share with you. And it's casualness creates casualties, and urgency is everything. If you're not getting the results that you want, it probably has something to do with you being too casual about building your business. You kind of got a ho-hum. Well, I'm going to call a couple people here. I'm going to call a couple people there. You're not really blitzing. You're not really going hardcore as hard as you can. And, I want you to remember this. Somewhere out there is someone that is working harder than you. And you want to be that person. I don't like to get outworked personally. I don't mind being beaten. All right, I don't mind not being the strongest person in the gym, but I don't like anyone else to be more fired up or intense than I am in anything. In any sport, in anything that I do, I always seek to be the most intense, the most focused. All right, because all I can do is all I can do, but I definitely want to always make sure that I'm giving it 110%. So, urgency is everything. And this is kind of interesting because I called up this guy, good buddy of mine. I called him up today. And I let him know what I was doing. I was like, hey, man, listen, I just, gotten started with this, company. We're really ripping it. I was telling him what I was doing, the opportunity that he has for himself to position himself, within our team. And I shared with him, our company video, and he liked everything he saw. And he said, Cesar, man, everything you're saying sounds awesome. And he had every reason to jump on board and run with us, but he didn't. And you know why? Because he said, man, you're not going to believe this. He said, I had pretty much, taken some time off to, work on the book that I'm writing right now and to focus more on my speaking career. And he said, and guess what ended up happening? He said, Cesar, I'd kind of taken, a long time off from the home-based business industry. But recently, I just got back started 2 weeks ago, and I'm crushing it with this other company. And he goes, man, if you'd called me 2 weeks earlier, man, I would have been 100% down to run with you, and we would have crushed this thing together. And I just thought to myself, oh my God. I've been building this new company personally that I, have basically moved to, for probably the past month and a half. And I thought that I was being urgent. I thought that I was, going out there with a sense of urgency. We put in a lot of people. We probably put in 150 people in the past, month and a half or whatever. Now, again, don't get intimidated by that if you haven't put in one person. You've been in for 6 months, because that's how I was when I first started. Okay, all right, I was terrible. But now, obviously, I'm a different person. I've got enough personal development in me, so I go out there now and I know what to say, and I know how to frame everything that I do in such a way where people, obviously, are compelled and want to get started with us. But the thing about it is, even though I did everything right, the timing was off. And it was because even though I thought that I was building urgently enough, I wasn't building urgently enough, because I left out one of my good friends, a guy that I know would kill it, a hitter. I left him out of the mix, and I feel, and I have the utmost respect for him. Look, I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing. I'm not trying to dissuade him out of that by any means. If he's excited and if he's doing good stuff, look, that's cool. I'm not pressuring him. I believe personally that he'd be better off working with me. But, that's my fault for not reaching out to him earlier. So, here's the lesson. Are you really being urgent enough about your business? Are you leaving people out? Because I thought about him earlier. I thought about him a couple weeks ago, and honestly, and I apologized to him. I was like, man, look, I'm sorry I didn't call you earlier. If I had, you probably would have had about 60, 70 people on your team already. But listen, I'm going to be putting in 200-300 more in the next couple of weeks and months. And I said, so, you've got a pretty prime position if you want to get rolling. And I completely respect his decision not to get started, because he's obviously committed to what he's doing. But at the end of the day, it was bad on me, and it also was going to be a bad thing for him, because he would have loved to have worked with us. He would have loved to have been on my team, and I would have loved to have worked with him. But at the end of the day, I just got to thinking. I said, I'm not working hard enough. I'm not making enough calls, because I missed that one. And I thought of him before, so here's the lesson. If you think about someone, call them right then and there. All right, act while the emotion is high. When the emotion is high, that's the time to act. So here's my question. Are you working hard enough? Are you proceeding with enough urgency? What's your sense of urgency like right now? Because if it's lacking, you need to get working. All right, and I'm going to tell you something. Someone's going to sponsor the people that you know. It's going to be someone on your team, or it's going to be you, or it's going to be someone on someone else's team. They're going to get exposed, and they're going to do something, and the worst thing in the world is when they do it big and you go, God, I can't believe it. Or the worst thing is when you do it big and you leave them out, because they could have had an unbelievable opportunity to run with a winning team. So here's the lesson. Get urgent about your business. Casualness creates casualties. When you think about someone, pick up the phone and call them right then, and understand every moment you wait is another day that you risk them getting exposed by a different opportunity to work with someone else and them not working with you. So do everyone that you know the favor and hit them up ASAP. All right, that's my lesson for today. Get urgent with it, get hardcore, and I can promise you this, if you step up your urgency, you're gonna step up your results. Get excited, get on the phone, do what you need to do, don't leave anyone out, and I can promise you, if you operate with a sense of urgency, you're gonna have some serious results, and if you don't, you're gonna have some serious regrets. So that's it. I'm Cesar Rodriguez. Take care, have an awesome day, and God bless.